Well, hello random YouTube people. I'm assuming that you're one of many that are having trouble keeping the air inside your RV fridge cool. Well, here's one trick that I did to help circulate the cool air in my fridge, and that is install an evaporator fin fan. Watch how easy it is and just how effective it can be. Stay tuned.
Subscribe.
If you are having any troubles getting your fridge to get cool air at all, I encourage you to go watch my other video about adjusting the thermistor inside the fridge. That can solve a lot of problems. If you're still having issues after that, then please come back to this video. So you've adjusted the thermistor in your fridge and you're now getting cool air, but you're having trouble keeping it cool, especially in the day when it gets warm. So here I'm going to show you how to install an evaporator fin fan. This fan is from Beach Lane and it has 3 separate fans in this one single unit. And this is going to help prevent ice buildup and maximize airflow in your fridge. Inside the box you will find installation instructions, wire nuts, information about other fan products, and the fan unit itself. I chose this unit because unlike other fan products, this one has 3 2.5-inch fans. You can also power it from the battery itself. You can power it from the light from the fridge. It also has these nice clips that are just going to attach to the evaporator fins themselves. It's very easy to install. We had a fan in our fridge last year that would circulate the air, but it was battery powered and the cool air would turn off the battery all the time. So this is direct power and it's going to be awesome. Of course, in the instructions, you're going to find exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. There are 2 different ways to install this product. You can install it directly on the light that's inside the fridge, or you can install it directly hardwired into the battery. And I'm going to show you how to do the hardwired version, but I'm going to explain along the way how you can do the wired to the fridge light version as well. So I am out in my trailer at my Dometic fridge, and we're going to install this fan in the fridge section. And you can see when I open up the fridge, there's these little fins. We're going to attach this new fan to those fins with these little clips. That's pretty much the last stage of this. What we really need to worry about right now is how to power this. So there are 2 options according to the instructions that are given. We can hook it up into the light here, or we can run it out the back with the thermistor and it'll go attached to a 12-volt outside. So the benefit of having it in a fridge is that it's potentially easier. In my case, it's not so much easier because there's a lot of different wires in here and there's not a whole lot of room. I would have to T-tap into one of those wires and figure out which one is the constant power, which is the one that's not turned on when the fridge is on. So if I were to just pop this fridge on right now, you can see that the light turns on for the fridge. And when this is flipped, it turns off. So one of the wires on this sections here will only turn on when the light is on. So I don't want the fan to only turn on when the light is on. I want the fan to turn on and stay on even when the fridge is shut. So you have to find the correct wire, which one of those reds and which one of those blacks is the right wire. That's the constant power. So I thought it might be a little bit easier to actually just run the wire out here. All I need to do is make that hole a little bit bigger to fit 2 wires. Now I'm going to turn the fridge off because I don't want it to start trying to cool the fridge while I am talking to you. So all this is a black and red wire that connects and comes out of the fan. So all we need is to send 12 volts through this wire and we can turn the fan on. So like I said, you can wire it into the light. I'm going to not do that in my case. I'm going to send it out the back here to the thermistor. Let's go see what the back side looks like. Now when you're outside of your trailer, you should see something that looks like this. It's a little panel, an access panel for behind your fridge. So you can even see it says Dometic on it. So you just turn these tabs to the vertical position and you can pop this right off. All right, so this is what it looks like behind your fridge. We have the gas line coming into the pilot light over here. And then we have the control panel switch box. So if you can see in your trailer, you're going to have something like this. This is the power for your Sure Power. So if you have your trailer plugged in, the power to your fridge is coming from here. So even if I pop that off, this fridge is still getting some connectivity from the battery. So we need to determine which one of these lines is the 12-volt in from the battery. Now to find our 12-volt power source, we need a multimeter. So this is a nice one. I will put a link in the description. but I'm just going to turn this multimeter on to detect the DC volts. You can see this one says AC. I want the DC volts, DC. I'm going to try to hang this right here so we can kind of see the volts. So what we're going to do is take our red and black leads to test the voltage. So you can see this wire coming from back over here, and it's coming into this little terminal. So this is more than likely the 12-volt power source for your fridge. So to test that, we're going to take our black and red leads. The red goes to positive and the black goes to negative or to ground. If you can see, I'll try to get that on video here really quick. Right there where the green and yellow wire come together, that's where the main ground is. You can see they're all being tied together. So I'm going to put my black lead on that main ground, and then I'm going to put the red on the incoming brown wire here. So black to the ground, and then brown or red to the brown. And you can see on the screen it's jumped to, we got 14. So it's a little more than 12 volts, but this is our 12-volt power source. If I put it in the white side, we get nothing. If we take our black and red leads for our fan and attach it to these two cables, the red for the brown and the black for the white, that will power our fan. We can even test that really quick just by doing a simple, quick little test. Let me go get the fan. So here is the new fan for the fridge, and you can see our black and red wires. I'm just going to attach it to this main power source and the fan should turn on. I'm going to leave the fan right here for now. Actually, move this fan over so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm just going to stick the red wire into the brown and then try to get the black into the white over here. And if I do that, the fan should turn on when I flip the switch. All right, that should do it. So if I flip the switch on this fan, it should turn on. There it goes. So you can see if I pull the wires away, the fan turns off. So this is what I need to do. I just need to attach my wires here, and that'll power our fan. Here's just a closer look to that brown and white. We're going to undo those little bolts so this wire will pull off, and spin the red on with the brown and spin the black on with the white, and then push those wires back in. But the wire itself needs to come out from the fridge. You can see some wires here. There's a white wire and it's going into the control box here, or the control panel. And if you follow this little white wire, it's coming out from behind the fridge. There's also another white wire back there, that white and gray coming from back to the fridge. So if we send that wire out from that little hole we showed earlier, it should be popping out somewhere back here behind the fridge, and we can grab that wire and run it behind here into the power source. And we can do all this stuff to zip tie it and stuff later. But let's go ahead and try to send that wire through from behind the fridge. All right, so now we're back in the fridge and we're going to pop off this clip for the thermistor. If you haven't seen my video about the thermistor, you should go check it out right now. This adjusts the temperature inside the fridge. And my fridge works wonderfully on electric, but on gas, we're having some problems here. Hence why I'm adding the fan. So I'm going to grab a screwdriver here just to pop off the little clip here. And this is going to be the hardest part, I think, of this install, is to run the wire through the back here. So once that clip is loosened up, it'll just get out of the way there. And then we can put our other wire down back there. You can see there's some little insulation back there. I might get some insulating spray as well, just so that we don't have any warm or cool air that leaks out the back of the fridge here. So let's go try to run our wire out this hole. I have twisted the wires together, hopefully to not get caught on too many things. I'm just going to start pushing the wire down the hole. And hopefully we can find it from the back side of the fridge. Now let's go to the other side of the fridge and see if we can pull it from the other side. It'll be easier than trying to stuff it down this hole. Though it is going down slightly. Let's see if we can find it on the other side. I do not see it popping through just yet. Let's go try shoving it down the hole again. That's what she said. So I'm finding it difficult to shove that wire down the hole, so I've gone ahead and pushed this new wire as far as I could, and I went ahead and taped it to the thermistor wire. And I'm going to pull the thermistor wire down from the other side, and hopefully it will pull the new wire down with it. This one here, I believe, is the thermistor wire. Just gonna sit and pull on this.
Here's some movement inside. I don't want to pull it too far. I don't want to lose the thermistor clip, so let's go check inside real fast. Still have a little bit to go, so let's keep pulling. Hopefully this will stop at the clip here and won't let me pull any further than that. Let's keep going. Oh, there it is. There's my new wire right there. Let's see if I can grab onto that.
And there it is, you can see my new wire. Now I just need to disconnect that tape that I added and run the wire down to the connection here and then pull the thermistor back up the other way. All right, with the wires ran all the way through now, you can see if I try to put them both in this little clip that goes out the back of the fridge, it's not going to quite fit. So I'm going to need to widen this hole a little bit so that it will fit 2 wires instead of just 1. But first, of course, I'm going to wire it up. Before I do that, this is connected to the battery right now, and it's going to shock me if I try to take these wires off and touch them. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into the trailer, and then I'm going to turn off the battery disconnect so that it will turn off the battery to the fridge completely. Now, to be safe, you might want to test with your multimeter again, just to make sure that you are not getting any voltage readings into this little unit that we're going to be plugging our red and black wires into, just to make sure that you don't get shocked. I'm not too worried about it. I turned off the battery disconnect, so let's go forward. I already pulled the rest of the length of the fan wire down the hole, so let's now hook it up.
So now just taking a small flathead screwdriver and sticking it down these terminals to loosen these screws. Wow, that's on there tight.
You can see in my trailer, whoever assembled this ran the gas line with this big loop, and that loop is right in my way. And I think I'm just going to have to take this whole thing off in order to reach it better.
This is extremely difficult to do. I'm going to try to take this screw off here. I can't seem to do it otherwise. Oh, this is just really tight quarters. The stupid gas line is in the way. My goodness. Idiots who installed this. Seriously, shouldn't be this hard.
Once I unscrewed this terminal off of the main metal bracket, it was much easier to get to. Now that the brown and white wires are disconnected from the terminal, I need to attach them to my red and white wires for the fan. I'm going to use my wire strippers to give me some little extra length so that I can twist the wires together and put them back into the terminals and tighten down the screws so that we're all good to go.
So now that my wires have been stripped a little bit longer and I have room to go into the other terminals and spread them out like this, I'm going to connect the red to the brown and the black to the white and push these back in. These little connectors here, all it does is squish down by tensioning a screw. So I'm just going to make sure I have all of the wires twisted together and put it in the hole there and tighten down the screw.
Red gets twisted together with the brown, and the black gets twisted together with the white. Now inserting the twisted pairs of red and brown together into that terminal on the left side and tightening down the screw. And the same thing for the white and black. Now in my case, since I had to disconnect this terminal off of the metal bracket, I need to put it back on, and then we are done.
All right, there we are. So I have the red and the brown and the black and the white. And I've done the tug test and that's in there pretty good. I might go back with some electrical tape just to tape around this, just to make sure that nothing gets disconnected. But I also have this screwed back down so it's nice and tight onto this metal bar here. So the next step is to go hook this up to the fan inside the trailer and see if the fan turns on. But first we got to flip the battery back, or the battery disconnect back on. All right, here we are turning on the battery disconnect. And I don't know if you can hear that, but we also have some light in here. The lights have turned on, so our battery's back on. So all we need to do is connect the other end of this wire to our fan and flip the switch and see if it works. And I can pull some extra slack up too as well if I need to. And when I'm all done, I'm going to spray some spray foam insulation down in that little hole right there. Just make sure that it's nice and airtight. All right, the moment of truth. I'm going to grab the fan and connect the wires together here. All right, and if we flip the switch, we should have the fans turn on, which means everything's working. 1, 2, 3. There it is. The fans are spinning. So we have 12 volts coming to this fan. We connected it through the back of the refrigerator to the incoming 12 volt to the refrigerator unit. and this is working great. The next step is to clip these onto the fin blades up here. So let's go ahead and do that. But first I need to rewire this to come up underneath the fins right there. So again, these just have these little clips, and we're going to clip it right in the center. This particular one's a little bit, you'd find fin blades that line up with this. It doesn't quite line up. As you can see, if there's clipped onto here, there's nothing for it to clip on over here. So I'm going to do some working on this to figure out a good place for this. Might have to pull a fin blade over for it to meet correctly. There we go. And have the wire come up and meet here. And let's give it a turn on. There we go. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. I'm running my audio through the microphone here. That now. Looks like it's working great. When I put my hands under the fins, I can definitely feel some airflow. And the fins are already getting cold even though the refrigerator is not even on. I can feel that nice cool air being blown through. So what this is going to do is just recirculate the cold air through the fridge and keep the fridge cooler than it would be without the fan on. So the next part we need to do is rehook up our thermistor to the top clip here and turn our fridge on. I also need to make sure that this little clip here will be able to fit 2 wires in it. And then of course I'm going to do that portion where I put some spray foam in that hole there. And just like I did in my other refrigerator video concerning the thermistor, I'm going to make sure that the thermistor stays at the top of the clip so that when you move it up, the higher up it goes, the cooler it is. If the thermistor is not settled inside the clip, or it moves all the way to the bottom, it's not going to be all the way to the top. So we want the thermistor, I'm going to put it all the way to the top of the clip. I'm going to grab some clear duct tape to just wrap around the bottom so that that cord does not move up and down. A commenter on my other video said, why not do some hot glue? That's an option as well. I'm just going to stick here with the clear duct tape. The clip will insert like this. And you make sure that the thermistor is all the way to the top of the clip. There you go. But that duct tape should allow it to stay still when the trailer is moving up and down on the road, so that while you're traveling, the thermistor doesn't fall, therefore dropping the temperature inside your fridge. I'm also going to put a clip at the bottom so that the thermistor doesn't move up and down the whole clip itself, but the duct tape should hold the actual thermistor itself in there. It would be nice if they just made one of these that fit 2 cables, but I'm going to make this hole a little bit wider, and I'll be right back. Now I'm just going to add some zip ties on these cables just to make sure that they don't get tugged accidentally. I don't want somebody to yank this from the fridge side and pull this out, so I'm going to do a zip tie right here to keep them all together. Now there's a lot of extra from up there, and I want to keep the extra on the other side of the fridge, I think, instead of inside the fridge. I don't want anything to get tripped on it. So I might just like create some kind of bundle and put it back here somewhere. But that's all I got to do really, is just take care of this extra wiring. And you know, I could just leave it like this without zip tying it. Not going to hurt anybody. There we go. Get this out of the way. Now just finishing up with this little plug here. Trying to get it to be the right size to fit both wires and not to let out too much cold air, because the fewer amount of cold air out of the fridge, the better. Well, there we are, everybody. We have it installed. I'm going to turn the fridge on to make sure that we have the fan blowing the cold air like it's supposed to. But you can see I have my thermistor back up like we did. We put a duct tape on it, held it up with a clip. I've ran the cords through the little fins here in the slot. They go down to the back corner. Here's the little drip tray, and there's the little drip thing that goes outside. And then here is the cords that go for the thermistor and for the new fan. that go outside into the back where we wired it up to the 12-volt connection to the fridge. So what I just had done was take this clear caulking, which has a rating of 0 to 100 degrees, and this fridge isn't going to get below about 30 degrees, hopefully, so that should be okay. And what I did is I just popped out that clip, and I put some silicone on the other side of the clip, and then I put it on the front side too, just to kind of seal that crack there, so no cold air gets out. Hopefully that's going to work great. Now the next step is to turn it on electric. It's much faster to cool the fridge if you turn it on electric. So I'm going to make sure that the gas is not depressed. So gas is not on because it's pushed in. I'm going to go ahead and turn this fridge on. There's no check light, so we should be good. I'm just going to give it a couple of hours to cool down the fridge. I will be back. So it has been a couple of hours. I'm going to open up the freezer first. We can see that the freezer is in freezing levels. Let's check the fridge. Now remember, this is on electric, not gas. So this is still at 60 and warm. Wow, that's really not great. Let's go ahead and flip on the fan and see if that makes a difference. Okay, I feel some motion, some airflow. Okay, we're gonna leave that running and see if the temperature drops into the refrigerating section. Wish me luck.
All right, so it has been quite a few hours later, and if I put my ear up to the fridge, I can hear the fan running from the outside. So moment of truth, let's see how cool the fridge is. Remember, it was about 60 before I turned the fan on, but it has been running for a couple hours as well. But let's go ahead and see where we're at. Well, we're in the refrigerating section, so at least that's good. But this is on electric. I'm really worried about how it's going to do on gas. So I'm going to flip the system back over to gas, and let's see, after I've switched it to gas, if it can hold that temperature into the refrigerating section. Now just turning on the gas from the propane tanks. Now to make sure that the gas is running through the system, I'm going to go ahead and start one of the burners, or all of them. Let's just see. Light. Well, might have a front burner issue, but the other ones are going, so we have gas flowing through the system now. Now let's turn the fridge on to gas. There goes the front burner. Turning these all off now. So if you leave the fridge on auto, as soon as the trailer disconnects from electricity, it should automatically flip over to gas. Otherwise, you would depress this button to turn it on to gas only. I'm going to try the auto feature here. And so let's just go unplug the trailer from electricity, from the shore power, and that should flip over to gas. Going to go ahead and remove this panel just so that we can get a good sound of the ticks from the pilot light starting. So I'm going to go ahead and take the electricity away from the shore power. As we disconnect here, we should pretty soon hear some ticking. There we go. Oh. That took a while. Did you hear how long that took to start? So my real problem here might be my gas. I need to check this line to see if it's sending enough gas through it. I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, but I'm going to try to figure that out. But you can now hear the flame roaring. I can't really get it on video because it's got those coverings over it. But the fridge is now running on the pilot here. So we're going to come back in a couple hours and check to see what the fridge temperature is. Now it's going to be another hot day today. I have the trailer on the side of my house in direct sunlight for a majority of the day. So we're going to see if this
fridge can keep it cool with the fan rolling. I'm just gonna go in and stick my head on the door just to make sure I can still hear the fan going in on the inside of the fridge without having to open the door. Because every time you open the door, you lose some cold air. And yes, I can still hear that fan roaring. I don't think you can pick it up over the phone. But the fan is still going. It's on auto. The gas is running outside. And let's see if that fan in combination with the gas now being used will keep the fridge cool to a desirable temperature.
And the moment of truth. Well, what do you know? We have refrigeration. Well, I hope that I've illustrated well in this video that if you add an evaporator fin fan to your RV fridge, that it will help recirculate the air inside the RV fridge, keeping the cool air cooler than it would have otherwise. So please check out the link in the description for this awesome product. If you found any part of this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up on this video. Click the share button to share with all of your friends and family. Give me a comment. And of course, remember to subscribe.
Subscribe.
If you want to watch more of my videos, just search for my name. DIY BRY. Yeah!